Hello, everybody. Thank you for clicking on my channel. I am Peter the Book Lover. I have a YouTube channel to where I talk about books and movies. I have a great time doing it, and hopefully we'll have a great time as we talk about this book. And I'm going to talk about this book right here. This is Johnny Got His Gun. This is written by Dalton, Trumbo. And this is a part of my Read What You Own challenge. This is book number 17. I'm planning on reading 100, so I've got 83 to go after this. And this is a pretty interesting book. I really enjoyed it. Let me tell you what this is about. This is about a World War I soldier that actually goes in a ditch, lands in a ditch, and then a bomb comes and hits the ditch, and he gets blown to hell. And he's knocked out when he gets hit, but when he wakes up, he finds out that he is missing his face. So he's missing his eyes, he's missing his nose, he's missing his mouth, he's missing his tongue, he's missing his ears. And so he can't see, he can't smell, he can't taste, he can't talk, he can't, his whole face is just a brain. And then he has no arms and legs as well. And he comes to conscious in this book being in this condition, and it's a pretty awful condition to be in. And this is you're in his thinking as he's living out this experience, and he's been in this experience for a long time. He's not in this experience for just a year. He's in it for years. And this book really jumps around with his thinking about his situation. Plus, it also has flashbacks of his earlier life. He's thinking of his family members. He's thinking of the time when his father died. He is also thinking of one of the times he spent with his father, to where they go on a camping trip, and then he invites a friend over. And his friend doesn't have a fishing pole, so he borrows his father's fishing pole. His father's fishing pole is his most prized possession, because it's a really classy fishing pole. It's like the top of the line, and he does a lot to take care of it. But him and his friend borrow this fishing pole, and they wind up losing this fishing pole. And then when he comes back late at night and he tells his father that he lost his fishing pole, instead of his father getting mad, he actually forgives his son. And it really shows you that his father was a good person. Then it also goes flashing back to the last night he spends with his girlfriend, or maybe fiance. I don't know if they were engaged, but some girl that he is really in love with. And then it also has a couple other stories, like when he's working on the railroad and they quit the railroad, and he winds up coming back to town, and he finds out that his girlfriend is cheating on him. There's also a story to where he's working in a pie factory, and it was kind of a comical story about some guy that didn't want to quit, but he had another job. But he didn't want to dishonor the person that gave him this wonderful chance to work at the pie factory. So instead of just quitting, he actually tries to get fired. And it's kind of a funny thing that he does when he's trying to get fired. And also it goes into him thinking about his situation. Now, this is an anti-war novel, because one of the arguments he's having with himself is like, why do they send people out just to die? And it's like, why do these people want you to die? And this book came out in 1939. And maybe if this book came out in, say, 1949, he might have a little bit of better understanding of why sometimes we have to send people to war. See, in 1939, the Nazis were rising to power, but this is before we found out they had concentration camps and everything. So the way that I'm thinking about it is that war is an awful thing. I'm not pro-war, but at the same time, war is a necessity. We sometimes have to send people out to fight. Now, if the Americans didn't send young men out to fight against the Nazis, if the Russians didn't send their young men out to fight against the Nazis, or if the people from England didn't fight the Nazis and send out their young men, Hitler would have gained power of the world, and Jewish people would have been extinct because they would have wiped the Jewish people out. So, if you just look at it from your angle by yourself and you don't really think about other angles, you're not going to understand it. But once you step out of yourself and think of the whole world of what it would be like if they didn't fight, you might have a better understanding of why these people send you to war. They want to send you to war, but not because they want to send you to war. They want to send you to war because you're needed. Soldiers are needed to fight. And I also watched the movie of this, and this was an interesting movie. The most interesting thing about the movie was that it came out in 1971, and it was directed by the author, Dalton Trumbo. So that makes it pretty interesting, and it was a pretty good movie. I enjoyed the movie. I wonder if what I'd think about this if I watched the movie first and then I read the book. But I read the book first and then I watched the movie. But before I read the book or watched the movie, the band Metallica put out a song called One on their Justice for All album. And it's a song based off of this story. And as a matter of fact, when I listened to the song One by Metallica, and I've listened to it many times, I mean, I really love that song, I've always thought that this was going to be more powerful than it was. See, I recently finished this book. This is Night by Elie Wiesel. And I was expecting this to be a lot more like this because this is a very serious book. This is very traumatic. This is very serious, sometimes very shocking. This is more, once you get past the idea of somebody in the situation he is, this is not really a tense book. This is more flashbacks and him thinking. Now, there are chapters to where he's like talking about how he feels like he's a dead person and with a brain, Also, there's times to where they talk about, he flashes back to Christmas. So, actually there's a little bit of The Night Before Christmas is in this book. And there's also a story about Jesus and how the birth of Jesus, because there's a nurse that writes on his stomach, Merry Christmas. And then he actually figures out a way to connect with the world. And it was pretty interesting. And I thought it was really interesting. The thing about this book, though, it really doesn't end. It really doesn't have a powerful ending. It's continues on after the story, you know what I mean? So it's, but like I say, this was a really good read. I'm glad that I read it. I was looking forward to reading it, although it's not as powerful as I thought it would be. Now, there is one criticism I have of this book, is that it doesn't use quotation marks. So there's a lot of sentences that you might have to read more than once to figure out the difference between dialogue and commentary, But other than that, this was a really interesting book. I really enjoyed reading the stories. Yeah, and I would recommend I would recommend this book. So check this out if you ever get your hands on it. Okay, so that's it. I'm Peter the Book Lover. I've got more books coming. I'm really enjoying the Read What You Own challenge. It's been pretty fun so far, so I'm looking for the rest of the books that I plan on reading. It's a lot of fun. I recommend doing a Read What You Own challenge. That way, all these books that you collect, you could actually finally get to them. It kind of helps you get to these books. So that's it. I'm Peter the Book Lover, and I want to thank you for coming by. And if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. And if you can, subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And that's about it. I will see you the next time. See you next time.